Welcome to the With You Rugby podcast, designed to give you an in-depth look at the United States Rugby Foundation, including our grant programs and recipients, fundraisers, events, and much more. Now let's get started. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Vizard, president of the United States Rugby Foundation, and I want to welcome you to our With You podcast. The With You podcasts are designed to give you an up-to-date information about the United States Rugby Foundation, including our grant recipients, our grant programs, our events, our fundraisers, and everything else related to the United States Rugby Foundation. Today, we welcome in Damian Morley, the United States U18 player, who had got some funding from a couple of our programs under our umbrella, the Graham Downs Development Fund and the Pathways to Excellence, to allow him to take part in a 3-month course at the Stellenbosch Academy of Sport in Stellenbosch, South Africa. Welcome, Damian, and thank you for taking part today.
How are you? I'm pretty excited to get things going.
Yeah, great. Hey, so just to give people a little bit of idea who you are, tell us about your upbringing and some of the sports you played as a kid.
Yeah, of course. So I'm a New York City kid, born and raised. Did most of my childhood, spent my whole childhood at the Lycée Français in New York, a French international school on the Upper East Side. Was never really into big team sports growing up. I was really into sort of like the adrenaline sports, like skiing, surfing, skateboarding. That was really sort of my itch growing up. I never really got into an organized team sport until I started swimming sort of late in middle school. That's really where I sort of found like the value in playing with the team and sort of transferred into rugby later on.
Yeah, how'd you get introduced to the sport of rugby?
So at Lycée, all my friends played rugby while I was stuck swimming in the winter. So when they were off to training in the afternoons and they were laughing about it at lunch the next day, I was missing out. So I had to see what all the fuss was about. So I checked it out, and I don't think I've ever looked back since.
Now, you transferred to Xavier High School, where they have a tradition of rugby excellence. What makes Xavier so strong year after year?
Well, I'd say that the tradition of rugby excellence lies in the motto of Xavier Rugby. You know, brotherhood, hard work, excellence. Like the coaches instill those values within the players at a pretty young age in freshman year. So by the time they're pushing up to the varsity ranks, those are given. You know, they rock up to training, they're ready to work hard, and they've already developed a deeply rooted passion for the game. So mix those elements together with, you know, the quality coaching and the quality strength and conditioning we receive, and we're bound to sort of punch pretty hard at national level.
And you've made the United States U18 team. Tell us about some of those experiences you had and some of your fondest memories from playing with the U18s.
So we played 2 games against Canada last winter, which was mind-blowing for me. I played with sort of the era teams growing up, sort of on a couple tours to Ireland, a tour to Canada, and sort of I thought I knew what to expect, but the intensity and the speed at which we played in those games was something I'd never been used to. But just to see how a group of kids could come together in such a short time and give the Canadians what they were looking for was pretty awesome, especially with 2 victories.
Now, was there any moments from that match that kind of stood out for you? Any particular highlights?
I don't know, just like the elation of winning the 2 games. You know, the last one, I mean, the first game we won, last play of the game, going like 75 meters to score a try. That was mind-blowing. Like, we scored, I didn't realize the game was over, and I was just mind-blown. I looked to our captain, I was like, I didn't know the score because there's no scoreboard or anything, and he's looking at me, he's like, I think we just won. So to win that was pretty insane. So we knew we had a big challenge on our hands to go back-to-back. So winning that second game, I'm not. If you rewatch the tape, like at the end of the game, I kick it out, and I don't think I've screamed louder in my life. Just like joy. It was so cool.
Now you can play 9, you can play 10. I even think you can play a little bit of fullback. Is there a position that you prefer?
As much as I love playing 10 and 15, the love has to go to scrum half. I'm deeply interested and deeply invested in sort of the technical aspects and components that make up a world-class halfback, and that's definitely something I strive for every day. Scrum half is one of the only positions that the minute technical details really make up sort of the character of a world-class halfback. So definitely prefer playing scrum half in that regard.
Now, do you follow the U.S. national teams?
Without a doubt, I'm a proud Eagle supporter in every code of the game.
Now, what's your impression of where USA Rugby is at the moment?
Well, it's actually quite interesting because when I first started playing rugby 8-ish years ago, like U.S. Rugby was sort of like a bottom feeder of the tier twos, and to see where like the upward trend that we've gone through in the past 8 years is truly remarkable. Like from going from being blown out to like Pacific nations to beating Samoa, Tonga, and stuff like that, then scheduling games with the Springboks it's insane, and I definitely see a successful future for the U.S. rugby teams, and it's definitely something I want to be a part of, and something as a fan I would love to see.
Do you have a favorite player or two that you follow for the Eagles?
For the Eagles, Ruben De Haas and Nate Oxberger. I mean, they're both nines. I've been able to meet them and talk to them a little bit, and so just to see how cool and down to earth they are, and see how they compete at international levels, pretty inspiring to me.
How about outside the U.S.? Is there a player that you like to watch?
At the moment, I mean, I think I'd be a fool not to say Antoine Dupont. I mean, it's like the French team has put a wing at scrum half and just see what he's capable to do. He's really pushing the boundaries of what's possible for a halfback at international level. So pretty inspiring. But I'd say for my favorite player of all time, I'm not even sure that's part of the question, but I'll bring it up. Dimitri Yashvili from France, the small general. So growing up, he was a huge idol. Just his technical approach to the game and his sort of like the Mamba mentality of outworking his opponents and stuff like that. Huge inspiration to me.
So you're thousands of miles away from us in Stellenbosch, South Africa right now. How'd that opportunity come about?
So after the high school All-American games, I was approached by USA Rugby to sort of sit in under their wing and sort of see where my potential could take me. And certain opportunities came up over the timeline of the past year, and COVID unfortunately got in the way of a lot of these. But with Stellenbosch, when the Stellenbosch Academy came up as being a probable destination, it was a bit of a no-brainer with the quality coaching and quality facilities and stuff like that. It was too easy not to too good of an opportunity to pass down.
Now, it's a heck of a long flight from the States down to South Africa. How'd you occupy your time on the flight?
Well, actually, I timed it from the second I left our family's apartment downtown Manhattan to once I got to my room at the academy. It was 34 hours and 30 minutes. So it was a bit of a hike, but we got here. Honestly, the travel itself wasn't too bad. I left at my flight was about midnight when I left, so I was tuned up for a long sleep, which was good. Watched a couple of movies and pretty much slept the whole way. So got here well rested and ready to hit the ground running.
Now, you mentioned your family. How do they feel about you playing rugby and about this opportunity in South Africa?
My family's been my number one supporter throughout this whole journey. It's a bit funny. Like when I first started playing rugby, neither of my parents had heard of it, so it was pretty funny just to sort of see how I've progressed through my short career so far. But they've supported me 100%. They're over the moon when they found out that I would finally be playing against the big boys in overseas countries and stuff like that. So I miss them. I miss them dearly, but they're definitely proud.
Now, how old were you when you found rugby? I forgot to ask earlier.
10.
10.
8, 9
okay.
or 10. Yeah.
Okay, so you've already been playing 8 years then.
Yeah.
Do you have other siblings?
I have a twin brother and a little sister. My twin brother and I would say I'm more athletically inclined, and he's a bit more studious.
Yeah. Did he play rugby at all, or does he?
He did one under 14s fall season with me. I think he played we played like one game together, but 10 minutes into our first game together, I dislocated my finger so bad that I had to be rushed to the ER. So it was
That
a
was it for him.
short-lived career with my brother.
Hey, so for the next 3 months, I guess it's about 2.5 months now, you're going to be training down at the Stellenbosch Academy. You said in an email when you arrived and you looked at the facilities, you were just in awe. Tell us about, the facilities down there and some of those things that really took your breath.
Well, one thing that's so awesome, I didn't really realize when I got here, was the Stellenbosch Academy is home of the Springbok Sevens, the men's team, as well as the Springbok 15s women's team. So, you're rocking up to breakfast at 7 in the morning, and you've got all these world-class athletes sharing the table with you. And sort of, as an American kid, you sit down, and you're like, whoa, I'm in deep water right now. But no, it's been awesome. Seriously, like the facilities here, like you often forget you're in a sports academy, and you think you're in a hotel, but all the training facilities are really geared to maximize your performance, and the staff here has been incredible so far. So it's really a dream come true.
Now, have you gotten the nerve up to talk to these Springboks, Blitzboks?
They're actually quite nice. One of them noticed I was wearing like a USA Rugby bag, and he asked me if I was from the States. So sparked a bit of a conversation. But yeah, no, they're normal people at the end of the day. I was expecting them to be like these crazy superstars, but no, they're genuine cool people.
Now, you've been there for a couple of weeks. What's a typical day for you like there at the academy?
Today was a semi-easy day. Usually wake up around 5:30 or 6:30 for a skill session, hit breakfast, chill for maybe 45 minutes, get some stretching done, get some strapping done, wherever you need for the field session, the morning field session. That's like sort of the 90 minutes where we cram in the most like the intensity of our session, whether that's contact under fatigue, focusing on our playing patterns with conditioning blocks and stuff like that. The morning session is really where we get like the brunt of the work done for the day. Come back for sort of hours rest, snack time, chill out, stretch, get ready for the skill session at 11:30. That session's usually a bit lighter. You can just sort of work on your running lines. As a scrum half, I'm doing a lot of technical work, mostly positional specific stuff. So a lot of passing from the floor, my box kicking, technical stuff, approaching the ruck, that kind of stuff, any type of kicking out of hand. That's sort of what we'll get done in that session. Then right after that, into the gym for sort of focusing on, the athletic side of rugby, getting your strength up, getting your agility up, working on your speed in the gym, sort of any little thing that can translate to performance on the field, sort of what we're getting done in that hour. So yeah, that's sort of what a usual day of training looks like. Most of the days we'll get done by 1:30 or 2:30 in the afternoon, so not too bad. But I've also been phoning into my Zoom calls at Xavier. So I'll do my classes once it hits like 3:30 p.m. here. It's hitting 8:30 a.m. back stateside. So I'll be in my classes from about 3:30 in the afternoon, anywhere from 7 to 9. So it's definitely a busy day's work, but I don't know. I'm obsessed with this lifestyle, and I'm keen to get it done. It's pretty awesome day.
So you'll be taking classes in addition to the coursework throughout this whole stay at Stellenbosch, right?
Yeah. It's a bit hard to sort of find time to do homework, but so far I've been able to figure it all out.
And the school's been pretty understanding?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be honest, when I came over, I was expecting to miss, like, I was timing it out so I would only miss like 1 or 2 classes a week. And this is the beginning of my 4th week, and I haven't missed a single class. So I'm pretty proud of myself. I haven't no late homeworks or anything. I'm killing it right now.
Well, good for you. Hey, I imagine there's probably some butterflies when you first arrived in camp, but to get things accomplished, those had to go pretty quickly, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my first session here, we hit the ground running. Like I didn't know anyone, didn't know what to do. Like the coach sent me the schedule. It was like 8:45 at the field meeting. Like, let's go. Make sure you're strapped up and ready to go. Didn't really know anyone. First thing we do is just like super crazy intense conditioning, and I was like, okay, like this is sort of like my bread and butter. We've done this day in day out at Xavier, so like first session I got it in. I sort of was able to show my true colors, bit of the New York hard work that I have in me. So I showed the team first practice what I'm made of, tried to grind out every last meter as hard as I could, and I definitely gained a little bit of respect in that first practice, and from there on out it's been pretty easy integrating into the squad.
Tell us about the makeup of these players. Are they mostly South Africans? I'm assuming that with the coronavirus, but where are they? Where outside the players from around the world?
So with it, the squad's about like 40, 45-ish. Most of the squad's South African, obviously, but there are four boys from Argentina, four kids from England, and one other American kid from Central Washington. So it's been pretty good having one other American here just to sort of touch base, but he's from California, so we can't really relate on that much stuff.
Are there any other kids around the camp that you've been close with or gotten to know pretty well?
I mean, the whole squad is really super, super chill. Like, you get squads where it can be a bit cliquey, where I don't know, like some backs will just stick to themselves, or a group of kids will just stick to themselves. But everyone sort of hangs out with everyone, so I really haven't had to sort of find my group or anything like that. It's mostly just I'm a player within the squad, and the squad goes where the squad goes.
Now, there's been a lot of great fly halves and scrum halves from South Africa over the years. Who's your positional coach or coaches, and what have you learned so far, and maybe some of those areas that you've really felt you've improved on?
Well, we're super thankful to have Neil DeCock as our positional specific coach for the scrum halves. Springbok player has I'm not gonna say hundreds, a ridiculous amount of caps for the Saracens, and it's just been awesome to work with him so far. He takes the game as seriously as you'd expect it, and for a young scrum half, it's sort of everything that you need from a technical point of view. Just sort of getting your reps in under the tutelage of like such a technically specific coach has been awesome. Just especially working on my pass from the line out and the pass from the deck, and sort of controlling the ruck area has been a huge work on for me so far since I've gotten here. And Neil has been nothing but amazing and helping me control that and learn that. So I'm really thankful to have him as a coach here.
Have you played any matches yet, or simulated matches?
So it's been pretty. So this past training block has been our sort of introduction to contact, because no one's really been able to play rugby for the past 9 months. So the strength and conditioning coaches have sort of laid out a pretty extensive plan to sort of get us playing up to match speed, because first weekend we were going right into full contact. It would be pretty dangerous on the body. So this past training block, we've sort of been focusing on the reintegration to contact, and we're expecting some inter-squad matches probably sometime within the next 6 weeks, and then full matches in about 8 weeks. So I'm pretty thankful to have this time to sort of work out any kinks in my game and really focus on just my development, because as you know, back stateside or in any professional environment, you might not get that much time to focus on your development, because it's very high performance driven. You're there to win, you're there to play, and you're there to practice, and you're there to win. So to have this time to just focus on my game and developing is something I'm seriously thankful for.
Well, what are some of the early highlights of your days at the camp? I mean, you've had to have some, I would think.
Yeah, well, I would say I'm a bit of a rugby nerd, so I'm just like any training session is like, yes, that was sick. But we were able to get out and play a round of golf in Stellenbosch, which was pretty cool. I thought I was gonna. I haven't played golf in, Jesus, maybe like a year. I don't know. And I thought I was gonna rock up to the first tee and just nail a beautiful drive and show these South African kids how these Americans play golf. And it was a horrendous day on the golf course, but definitely something I can work on in my free time when I'm here.
Well, that's good. I had a few rounds like that myself. Now, you sound like you got a busy schedule, though, with the school and the training. Have you had a lot of free time to do anything? I mean, is there a bubble down there? Are you guys confined to the academy? How's it work?
So Monday through Friday is pretty busy. I don't really get much. I don't get any time out from the academy Monday through Friday. I'm just really, that's sort of like the main training days. So I'm mostly focusing on my schoolwork and trying to get my recovery right so I can perform the next day. But we get Saturdays and Sundays out just to sort of explore Stellenbosch a little bit on our own dime and our own sort of safety precautions. You know, the squad is pretty tight with the COVID restrictions, and we've laid down some pretty hefty rules within the group to sort of stay away from any COVID violations and stuff like that. So it's been nice, but you know, you still have to take everything with a grain of salt because a COVID breakout within the academy could hinder the progress of not only us but a lot of other high performing teams.
Now, when you arrived, you sent me a note that you said you were in heaven. It's still heavenly down there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, look at this beautiful sunset. How could I complain? Yeah, no, it's seriously awesome. You know, when you get out of bed in freezing cold New York, and the only thing getting you to train and on the snow-ridden Pier 40 is the thought of maybe one day getting to a country like this and rubbing shoulders with some of the top talent in a rugby-infested country is definitely a dream come true. So I'm very thankful to be here. It's very awesome.
Anything you want to tell your family or your Xavier teammates or U18 teammates?
I would say for all the other high schools back in the States, better watch out for Xavier this year. We're coming for a national title. We're overdue, and we're coming for you. I'll tell my family I love them. They probably hear that enough from me on my phone anyways, but can't oversay it. And I also like to thank the U.S. Rugby Foundation for allowing me to come down here and work on myself, work on my game, and experience rugby in one of the best rugby countries in the world, if not the best. And I just like to thank USA Rugby as well for trusting me, like putting value in me, seeing my potential, and hopefully I can repay it.
Now you can do a couple more of these with us, right? Later on the road.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like there has to be some crazy stuff to go down to get you guys some new content, but I'm definitely keen to get on another one.
Anything crazy so far? What's the craziest thing so far you've witnessed or done or seen? Any feats of strength on this team? Any of these players stand out like, wow, this kid is amazing?
I mean, at training the other day, I got steps pretty bad, I was just like, wow, some of these South African kids really have some feet on them. So I've been strapping my ankles ever since because I'm not tripping over myself again. But I don't know, just the nature here is pretty awesome. Like I live in the concrete jungle, so to be surrounded by a foresty jungle is significantly better and pretty cool. I guess the craziest thing was the sunburn I had in my first week.
Well, you get sun in New York, right?
Yeah, in my apartment, yeah.
Well, Damian, thanks for taking part. I mean, it's been fun catching up with you.
Thank you for having me.
Meeting you for the first time, and congratulations on taking advantage of this opportunity. Keep up the great work with your school and with your courses. And
thank you.
I'll touch base with you, and we'll get together in a few more weeks to get an update from you.
Will do. Thank you so much.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for today's podcast. The U.S. Rugby Foundation would like to thank Damian Morley for taking the time with us today. And to those rugby fans who tuned in, we'll have more With You podcasts in the future, so please sign up for our electronic newsletters on our homepage at usrugbyfoundation.org and look for us on social media. Until next time, stay safe, everyone.